After sharing my video last night, I had a couple of people reach out to me and asked me to go into a little bit more detail about some of the experiences that I have had regarding targeting. I mention in my videos a lot, if you scroll at the bottom and work your way up, that I felt as if I had been being targeted. And I started feeling that way after I put my cousin in prison, who is a chief warrant officer of the United States Coast Guard. He was a very high-ranking person. He worked on the investigative side of things and was commonly like out on the ships in the field or whatever for months and months at a time. When I put him in prison in 2018, he was sentenced, and directly following that, I had a man reach out to me and ask me if I wanted to be a part of a show because he had reached out to me regarding music, something relatable. I was very interested because at that time I had just started trying to restart my music career out here in Portland, Oregon. So I started meeting this man and hanging out with him and becoming friends with him, thinking that he was there with good intentions and just wanted to be my friend and be nice to me. I'll get more on him later. It's the same man that I have been speaking about in my other videos. Before the trial for my cousin, I had attempted to flee domestic violence with the father of my 2 children. I had started getting really sick suspiciously. I even had what appeared to have been a panic attack directly before the trial. There's even an ambulance record and things like that, which I don't think is a coincidence. So I fled domestic violence and got away. And then during the trial, I went through a lot of trauma, of course, but I was still trying to do this on my own with my 3 kids in Astoria, Oregon. It did not work out. And of course, I ended up going back. That happened a couple of times. And during this, I was still meeting with this man regarding music and just kind of giving him information about what I was dealing with and some of the things that I had going on, while also being told that he was going to assist me with getting a band and had me in the recording studio and things like that. So directly following the sentencing hearing, I attempted to flee again with the help of police and the help of the Department of Human Services for the state of Oregon. This time, I told myself I was going to do it right. I was going to go to the people that are supposed to keep us safe, and I would be honest with them and tell them all of the different things that I was actually experiencing. And I thought they heard me. I thought, oh my God, we made it out. We did it, because they flew us back home to California where we would be safe. So here I am thinking, I did it. I got out. I got us out. We're going to break the generational cycle. My kids are going to know that it's not okay to treat people that way. I did it. But for some reason, the state of Oregon did not want me to leave the state, even though we were being abused and I was being threatened all the time. And I was being told that my ex fantasized about my murder and things like that. And my kids had bruises all over their bodies. It did not matter. The state of Oregon court ordered us back to the state. And that was in 2019. I'm going to remind you, this is literally directly following me putting a high up there pedo in prison, who was possibly, which I think, possibly a part of a very, very large ring, considering his authority within the military. But I'll let you guys be the judge of that. I will also add that I made numerous CPS reports regarding what was happening to us and to my children. And it just seemed like after I put my cousin in prison that no one seemed to want to listen to a single thing that I had to say or help us for some reason. I got back to the state of Oregon right away because the family court system had forced me to surrender my children to the man that was abusing all of us. When I got them back, they were covered in bruises, and I reported all of it again, everywhere. I reported it to everywhere, and not a single person did anything. Everything was unfounded. So I started working my butt off to make sure that I could create a safe place for my children. So that way they knew that if something happened, they would be able to tell me. And we are very educated on domestic violence because when you are in shelters, they tell you to talk. They don't tell you not to talk about it. They don't accuse you of trying to coach your kids by talking about the things that they experienced or their feelings or how it made them feel. So they're very educated due to that, and I am incredibly grateful. Once I got established in 2019, I got a job right away. I was working as a medical case manager for foreign international crewmen that work and live on shipping vessels. The company is called Sphere MD, and they were located on Swan Island. Shortly after getting that job, COVID hit and everything was shut down, so I was laid off. So that meant that I had a lot of time on my hands too because they had shut down all of the schools. And so the kids needed to be doing online learning at home. And when the schools are shut down, you can't, and the babysitters and everywhere, you have to stay at home with your kids to take care of them. So that's what I did while trying to share custody. During the times that I did not have my children, I started doing some research. And I had come across a video, I think, regarding the Epstein trial and information relating to it. And I just kind of started researching more because it triggered a lot of memories from my childhood. I was born into the foster care system, and so I was in group homes and some foster homes and some family homes. And once I heard the stuff regarding the Epstein trials, it prompted me to want to start looking into my personal life and where I came from and some of the things that I may have experienced as a child. I don't have any court records or any pictures or any information regarding the first 3 years of my life. All of my records are pretty generic, and a lot of them contradict each other from when I was born. So I started doing some digging and just trying to look for answers. This was in 2020, and I think maybe somewhat of 2021. And I started posting videos publicly. You'll see them at the very bottom of my page. You'll see the whole timeline, talking about some of the things that I was finding because it was almost like a personal research project. And then it started getting really weird and scary, and more things started happening. I will continue this in a little while.